Earlier this year, we made a video titled, I'm Concerned. And in that video, we covered all the major issues that have been plaguing Destiny 2 on the back end. Now, we expressed our concern with the state of the game in terms of stability, and essentially we just covered why we were worried heading into Lightfall. Now, our main question that we posed in that video is how long is it possible to keep patching holes in the ship that is essentially Destiny 2? Like, it's kind of comical. As soon as Bungie patches one hole, two more pop up somewhere else. And this led us to the conclusion that Destiny 3 at some point may become a necessity. Now, we got a lot of mixed opinions on this video. We had some folks agreeing with us, and then also a lot of folks saying we don't need a Destiny 3. Now, some of you guys dropped some amazing comments on that video. We even had someone named Dave Hogue who stated, as a software engineer on an infra team, I can confidently say that no matter what company you work for, infra is always forced to take shortcuts because executives don't see cleaning up tech debt and building resiliency of the platform as high impact. It sucks, and I feel bad for the infra teams at Bungie who are probably way overworked and understaffed. From AK Games, I think it's time for Destiny 3 on a brand new engine. They keep slapping band-aids on every time this thing springs a leak, and eventually it's just going to explode. From B Nugget, at this point, they need to just release Destiny 3 with a fresh set of code. From Joseph Snyder, looking forward to playing Destiny for the next couple of years. I just hope viewers don't take this video out of context. Being wary about game stability is one thing, but those acting like a new Destiny release is necessary to save the franchise need to check themselves. Another full-blown Destiny game isn't coming anytime soon. From Sydney Jemison, I think the biggest issue in this, which is what my team talks about every day, is technical debt and a lot of it. Basically, every release of an engine update fixes so many core issues, but with that, breaks the solutions you have in place for those fixes, causing a cascading effect. Given that most games are made in one version of an engine and stay there over time, this will cause the issue you're seeing here. I think the fix is a 3 to 4 month downtime to upgrade the engines so it could always receive upgrades when necessary, and also Q&A testing every single aspect of the game to make sure nothing is broken. Again, they can list the help of the community to Q&A tests, otherwise what's going to happen is only going to get worse. And finally, from Starkey, if I ever see a Destiny 3, I will break my TV. Needless to say, guys, wanting a Destiny 3 isn't as black and white as wanting a sequel. And to be quite honest with you, considering the vanilla releases for both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2, many people dread the thought of a Destiny 3. Everything from starting their characters over from scratch to just how those releases went to begin with. Hell, Destiny 2 almost died with how bad its vanilla release was. But I just wanted to list off some of those comments as it gave me insight from the few folks that are in this industry already, or at least related fields. But today's video is not to hammer down on those exact same issues from that original video. If you want to check that one out, feel free. Instead though, I want us to dig into some other issues that have popped up since the release of Lightfall, and some other pressing issues hurting the game that I believe to be just as important. Now, since then, we've had the launch of Lightfall, which has seen so many fantastic quality of life improvements to the game itself. Look no further than in-game loadouts. Now, don't get me wrong, I love these changes, and I don't want to undermine the hard work that went into them, but at the same time, we still haven't received any updates to these core issues on the back end of Destiny 2. On top of that, when we made our original video, I stated very ominously that things were going to get worse, but I didn't know exactly how much worse. Guys, just take it from this past week. The amount of recent problems that are popping up is insane, and these are things that are hitting me on a day-to-day basis. Here recently, I encountered this bug right here, and I know a lot of people said, Cross, this bug has been around for years, but it was my first time encountering it, and it scared the hell out of me. Essentially, when changing characters, sometimes you'll actually be brought to this new character creation screen, and if you accidentally select one of these characters and follow through on it, this will result in you deleting one of your characters. Now, obviously, you can get out of this by closing the game down, but the point is, if you're a new player and you encounter this bug, you might have actually selected this and followed through on the character creation, thus deleting your character. That right there is a terrible bug. But even other bugs that have been popping up, everything from leaving comp games and not losing rank or getting timed out, or the fact that we've been getting kicked offline with extended maintenance hours, error codes being increased, weapons not doing the appropriate amount of damage, and some of these items taking weeks to address. And then we have like the legendary farm glitch, which gets patched in like 3 hours. But that's not the only thing concerning to me. It's also the small things, the little things, such as patch notes being completely left out of update 7.0.5. And these are big patch changes. This wasn't something that I would think would be added last minute. And I almost feel like there's a miscommunication going on within the team itself. And to be quite honest with you, it wasn't until I saw the follow-up tweets from the Destiny 2 team Twitter that I even knew these other patch notes existed. I know at this point I'm probably beating a dead horse. You guys have been experiencing the same laggy servers, the same amount of error codes, the multiple bugs. We've seen an uptick in cheaters. Cronus and Zim users are running wild. Thank God we got confirmation from Bungie that they're going to start banning people. But it does blow my mind with all these things being so pressing missing. Legendary shards, that's priority number 1 for Bungie. No lie, I didn't even make a video on that, all right? In my mind, I thought we were gonna all keep that on the down low collectively. And let me just say this, if you're gonna introduce a bug that benefits the community as a whole, fellas, do not drop that video until Saturday. Bungie is off on the weekends, and that gives us 2 whole days to take full advantage. On top of all of this, the reception for Lightfall, well, wasn't the best. Primarily because of the story. Let's be real, Lightfall's campaign was kind of flat, considering the build-up. And it's not just us saying it, plenty of people in the lore community feel the exact same way. And not that I don't like Mylan and Bife carrying the storyline for me. Since Witch Queen, I felt like Bungie really put their big britches on and decided to carry the story for themselves. And to make matters worse, the seasonal story, in terms of writing quality, really sucked it up. Like, we had the season finale this past week, and it just didn't make sense. Even like the Crow's character development, from how distraught he was to where he ended up at the finale, my man just lost the love of his life, and he seems completely fine now. Overall, guys, between Lightfall and the seasonal narrative, everything's kind of mid. Honestly, the thing that's carrying this expansion for me is Strand, build crafting, the Nightfall refreshes, which by the way, I love. Lake of Shadows is amazing now. And despite the bugs, we have had a lot of quality of life changes and general gameplay improvements that are very good. Granted, for every good change Bungie introduces, 2 bugs arise, which does make me wonder, where is Bungie's priorities? That's the concern here, guys. Everything from the narrative to the amount of bugs we're getting in the game to the instability. Sure, we have a huge influx of new players playing this game, and I love it. I love so many people are picking up Destiny 2 right now, but it concerns me whenever I see sandbox people on the Destiny team that have been there for years stepping away to work on Bungie's next project. These are known veterans in the game, both Kevin Yanes and Tomo, stepping away. And don't get me wrong, I'm excited about whatever Bungie is working on, but not at the sacrifice of Destiny 2. Even the story surrounding Amanda made me scratch my head wondering, did the same person who wrote Season of the Seraph also wrote Season of Defiance? The emotion, the build-up, all those things, the dialogue between characters, it seems forced and out of place at times. And we literally just came off of a banger season, which was Seraph. Sometimes I wonder if Bungie knows what the demographic is for their game. Dude, we're grown. I would argue and say majority of the people that play this game are in their mid-20s. Most of us probably watch Game of Thrones. We've probably seen some rated R movies. We're good, Bungie. You can make the story edgy. I even tweeted out that I hope Amanda comes back evil if she ever got resurrected, and the Crow would be forced to kill her. And I know a lot of people think, whoa, that's crazy. Cross, that's way too extreme. You know it would be good though, right? Like, imagine the turmoil Crow would be experiencing when he is the one that has to plunge the blade in Amanda's heart. Imagine everyone at the tower instantly trusting Amanda because they think it's Amanda of old, but turns out she's evil. Bungie really tries to shy away from evil guardians or evil characters that happen to be guardians. Whenever we have a rich lore of bad guardians, everything from warlords to Dredge and Yor. I know we're in the light and darkness saga, but at some point, Bungie, you're gonna have to start making the story for the demographic that is playing your game, which is a bunch of grown-ass adults. Paul Dass even tweeted out my tweet stating that Destiny has always struggled with a lack of human villains in the story. Forsaken was the big one and was received very well, even if Aldrin's motives were like 4 layers of manipulation. Lichme was the other recent one, I guess, but like all light bearers are good now. People always talk about a new alien race eventually showing up, but I think rogue humans, Exos, and Awoken Guardians as actual enemy combatants could be a lot of fun instead. But to the original point, Amanda being resurrected as evil with a rewritten personality would certainly be more interesting than coming back as some wholesome titan. The idea that you give a bunch of people essentially immortality and unlimited power and they'd all be very nice superheroes doesn't really seem plausible to me. And he's right, it's not plausible. Hence why the show The Boys has been so successful. By the way, if you have not seen that show, it's a fantastic show. Now, I don't know if this has anything to do at all with the narrative so far, but we are starting to see layoffs at Bungie. This appears to be impacting the narrative department specifically. Now, we only have one confirmation from a team member, but they do say in their tweet that they were impacted by a team reduction at Bungie. And this is not great news. It's a terrible thing when anyone loses their job. But this happening just a year after being acquired by Sony for $3.6 billion does make me scratch my head. At the same time, if they're wanting to go a different direction, then finding the right people for the job, I get it. But the more and more I keep looking at things, guys, the more I feel like Destiny needs to become top priority for Bungie. Look, I know Sony dropped a lot of money for Bungie, and I'm sure Bungie made a lot of promises for upcoming games, whether it's Matter, that other game they're supposed to be making with NetEase, and perhaps a Destiny 3. What I would like from Bungie is to know why exactly we are running into so many bugs. Is it because the game is actually getting too big? Is it because we have old gen consoles that have not been left behind? Or is it in fact the Tiger engine, which is Bungie's beloved engine for like 3 decades now, is reaching a breaking point? I wish we can have answers to these questions. Now, this is definitely not something that Bungie's gonna just walk out next week and be like, yo, here's what's happening. Here's how we're shaping up the narrative going forward. These are our plans for Destiny 2 after the Light and Darkness saga wraps up. And oh, here's all the other games we're working on. Yeah, I'm sure that's not going to happen. However, we have a date coming up, and it should be in August, around the same time that Bungie announced Lightfall. And I know everybody's really thinking of short term right now, Season the Deep, and I know that's pretty much right around the corner. And don't get me wrong, I'm looking forward to that season and seeing if Bungie can pick things up narratively. However, when Final Shape is announced, whether that's August or September, guys, I don't know about you, but I want to know what the hell is going on at Bungie. What are these teams moving to that's so important that they have to get pulled off of Destiny 2? And what is the plan after the Final Shape? Because if the game keeps breaking at this rate, dude, I don't know how Final Shape is going to go. Like really. But I feel like Bungie has an opportunity here to really be open to why it is we're running into so many problems. So again, in our last video, we were told we were being over dramatic by saying that the game is going to continue to keep breaking more and more. And here we are. Destiny 3 is literally trending on Twitter. But let me just say, I really don't want a Destiny 3. If Bungie can make this happen on Destiny 2, I would prefer to keep everything on Destiny 2. And I feel like a lot of you would like that as well. Because if we had a Destiny 3, it's a good chance Destiny 3 would literally just be content delivered to us yet again from Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. And there's been too many great changes inside of Destiny 2 to just ditch it now. What Destiny 3 should be, for me, is essentially a engine overhaul. Take everything from Destiny 2, everything from our characters to our vaults, and literally just move it onto a new engine. And maybe then we can get everything that we want on our wish list. By the way, I made a video on my Destiny 3 wish list. Feel free to check that out. But at this point, that's literally all I want from a Destiny 3 is an engine overhaul. To take everything we have from Destiny 2 and move it to an engine that is going to last potentially for the next decade. Because I really think Destiny has the legs to run that long. But on this current engine, with the amount of problems that we get with every single patch, just getting the Final Shape is going to be a miracle. Well, fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching. And as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.